Once upon a time, in a quaint rural village nestled among rolling hills, there lived a young boy named Arthur. At 18, Arthur was strong and resourceful, but his skills were limited to hunting in the sprawling forests that surrounded his home. He lived with his aging grandfather, a carpenter whose hands had shaped wood into masterpieces for decades. However, as time passed, his grandfather's strength began to wane, and his once masterful craftsmanship became a distant memory. Despite their humble life, Arthur adored his grandfather, who had always been his guide and protector. Over the years, the old man often spoke cryptically of a treasure he intended to leave for Arthur, a treasure, he claimed, that was far more valuable than gold or jewels. Yet, as days turned to weeks and weeks to months, Arthur began to lose hope. What treasure could a poor carpenter possess? The years marched on, and the grandfather's health deteriorated until he was confined to bed. Arthur did his best to care for him, bringing home food from his hunts and tending to the house. One fateful evening, as the old man lay weakened but at peace, he called Arthur to his bedside. With trembling hands and a voice barely audible, he revealed his secret. "The treasure, Arthur, is the bed you see before you," he whispered. "For years it has kept me well, healed my pains, and granted me a longer life. But I stopped sleeping on it so that I could leave this world sooner. I didn't want to burden you anymore. Its power, however, is unpredictable. It may lie dormant for years before it heals again. You must guard it well." Arthur listened, his heart heavy with sorrow and regret. He had spent years doubting his grandfather's words, and now, as the old man drew his final breath, the truth became clear. Arthur mourned deeply, vowing to honor his grandfather's wishes. He decided not to use the bed for himself, instead keeping it safe until the right moment, a moment that might change someone's life. Time passed, and loneliness took hold. Arthur struggled to find purpose in the empty home where memories of his grandfather lingered. Finally, he resolved to leave the village, packing the few possessions he had, including the magical bed. He wandered for weeks, following dirt paths that twisted like veins through the countryside until he reached a bustling port city. The sights and sounds of the city amazed Arthur. Towering buildings lined the streets, merchants bartered goods from distant lands, and ships docked with cargo that glimmered in the sunlight. It was a world